Welcome to Empower Team Call, guys. This is a special edition. We're doing it on a Wednesday. This is our last call of 2022, if you can believe it. So I just want to kind of speak to you from my heart today. I don't have, a bunch of pretty PowerPoints or pictures or anything. But first of all, I'm super excited to be here with you guys. I love the community we have. I love what we've done this year. I'm super excited to see where we're going next year, and just to kind of be able to watch our dreams, for us to just dream together, period, and plan together, and then cheer each other on as we run towards our goals. Like, it's such a unique environment that it's really hard to find anywhere, especially among women. So I just want to let you guys know I see it and I appreciate it, and I definitely don't take it for granted. So when I started preparing for this call, a few things. So first, it's the 28th, guys. So that can mean good things, that can mean bad things. I was pretty excited to have this call on the 28th because I was like, all the things are in, all the things are done. However you feel is how you feel. But I could sit here and go through a lot of technical stuff and show you wording and show you this and show you that. You guys, listen, you know what to do. And if you have a question about something technical and wording about something, you can talk to your direct upline for that. So I really wanted to set you up a little more for success from a mindset and a communication standpoint, because the nitty gritty, I trust you guys on that, and you know how to find your resources. So I want to use your time well. So what we said about the 28th, points are in. So I want you to know, first of all, if you're where you want to be, where you expected to be, if you're not quite where you expected to be, if you're excited and you've reached some goals, I just want you to know points are totally neutral, and points don't say anything about your worth, and points don't say anything about necessarily your work ethic. It's one snapshot in a moment of time that may or may not correlate to your business. Okay, so there's a lot of things that go into success. There's a lot of things that go into growth and hard work. And I just want you to make sure you don't overvalue the points, all right? Because that can be something you get sucked into. That's just one aspect of things. The great thing is, it doesn't matter what's happened in this year. It doesn't matter the days we showed up how we wanted, how we didn't. What matters is what you do from today forward. And I really like that we can start fresh. And, maybe you didn't show up exactly the way you would like to. Guess what? Tomorrow's a new day. You can show up exactly how you want, and you get a new chance every single day. And that's okay. Like, we're not going to have perfect days. We're not going to have perfect years. I do want you to be careful about how you think about what's happened and where you're going, because, guys, your thoughts are a choice. Kylie, I think, is the one that says it, thousands, tens of thousands of thoughts will come into your head every single day. You really honestly can't control them. You can control the ones you keep hold of and the ones you decide are true, and decide how you feel about it. So that means you do have the power to let go of certain thoughts, which is very easy to sit here and say, much harder to put into practice. But I want to empower you that if you're feeling really discouraged about things, or let down or frustrated with certain things, we can choose different thoughts about that, which will elicit different feelings and will elicit different actions. So you do have to just be aware. That's kind of my advice of that. Be aware of what you're thinking about yourself, what you're thinking about your business, and what you're thinking about your goals, and work through some of that with your upline. I want you also to know is every single one of you guys have all the tools to be successful and have all the qualities to be successful, very successful, diamonds. That doesn't mean we don't have anything to learn. That doesn't mean we don't have things we got to improve on. That doesn't mean it's not going to be a lot of work. All good things tend to be pretty hard. That's kind of what makes them good. If everybody had access to them and they were pretty easy, I don't think we'd really call them good or call them achievements. So it's okay that you got to learn things. It's okay that it's hard sometimes. That doesn't mean you're not equipped. So we can give you access to the tools. We can help you master all that stuff. So I don't want you to see roadblocks. Okay. I want you to see opportunities. And that's a thought. So I'm not good at that as a thought, or I need to learn that. I need to study up on that. I need to practice that. Totally different thought. It's going to result in a different feeling, which means you're going to show up with a different type of posture. All right. So where do we want to have our thoughts? And it's easy to get tunnel vision in this business and look at the next promotion. And of course, you should be mapping out where your next promotion is and what's your points and time frames. You should have that. But in essence, I don't want that to be your focus and your emotional connection. Your focus and your emotional connection needs to be long term. You need to have where you're going, not necessarily the next step. Your next rank is just one step of many, because I promise, I can guarantee you're gonna go 2 steps forward, 3 steps backwards. Sometimes you're going to think you have something down and you don't have it down. You're going to be delightfully surprised. Sometimes people show up you never expected. And I never expected, Sabrina. Like, you get surprises sometimes and you get unexpected challenges sometimes. So if you just plan for that, you won't be as caught off guard. And just decide right now, good days, bad days, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes I'll be excited, sometimes I won't. I know where I'm going and where I want to go a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, guys. So think about how people used to approach work with and firefighters and police officers still kind of have it, and teachers with pensions. That's how it used to be. Like, you worked somewhere for 30 years. It kind of like the military guys in essence still do. They're there for 20 and they know they're going to get a check each month and healthcare. Like, they didn't just, most of the time, people didn't just show up and be like, oh, this has gotten really hard. I don't really like this anymore. I'm out. No, they saw the long-term benefit of sticking around, that was worth it. And they knew what was coming if they put up with it and figured out how to solve problems. Guys, you got to have that mindset here, that you know where you're going and you know what you're chasing. And that's where you're focused. And then all the chaos and noise will die down. So really what you focus on expands. If you're focusing on things you think are obstacles, you're focusing on your timeline too heavily, you're gonna lose. It's like the focus you have, like if you're fooling with your camera with a selfie, how you can make the background blurry or something like that. I think if you focus too close, everything far away gets blurry. And then you're going to start losing motivation and start losing a lot of things that really drive you long term. So constantly check your compass and check your focus on what you're looking at. All right. And the last thing on that is really, so kind of 2 things that helped me check myself. And this is not at all to like guilt anyone about what you have or haven't been doing. This is for goals, for how you want to show up. So 2 questions to ask yourself. What kind of leader would you want to follow? What kind of person would inspire you, would hold you accountable, would you trust? Go through those things. All right. And then show up as it. Guys, as simple as that. Do it. Be the leader you want to see. Be the leader you want to follow. We're really lucky on this team. We have great leaders. That doesn't mean you shouldn't sit down and think about, like, what character traits really, what does that look like? And then what does your future rank look like? Your future self, in essence. I want you to sit down and think about, okay, I've made it through all the trials. I've made it through all the things. I've learned all the things. Like, this is a week after convention when I got my diamond. I'm like back at home. Like, what kind of person do you think that is? What kind of thoughts does she have? How does she show up for work? What are her fears? What are her challenges? Like, what is she proud of? Show up as that person. All right. That's you. Okay. You just got a few cobwebs to knock off and a few things to rearrange before you get there. So you really got to go there in your mind and your dreams, and your points will catch up, guys. All right. They will catch up. I promise. So that's kind of mindset. The other thing I want to shift into is kind of some communication styles, stuff I've been learning about, where I want you to be cognizant of how we're communicating with our customers and kind of with the public out there. So I put motives. I like, having the things that start with M or whatever, like your mindset, your motives. Does your audience know your real motives? I know your real motives. I know why you guys are here. I know what you want for people. I know the relief you've gotten, and that you literally just want to offer people that relief. I think sometimes that gets lost in translation, and we get, in essence, a bad image from the public, or you get afraid to talk to people for fear of being misunderstood. That's a big fear of mine. I don't want someone thinking something about me and like what I'm trying to accomplish when it's wrong, when I'm in fact trying to accomplish this and they think this. So that can be a stumbling block. So how do we get around that for perceptions? And of course, there's always going to be people that misunderstand you. That can't stop you, but we can try to maximize, are we communicating our motives in the right way? And we have heard this stuff before. This is just kind of a cleaner, neat and tidy way to say it and to teach it. So none of this stuff I'm about to say is like this radical new thing that you need to change. It's a mindset and being careful with how you communicate with people. And I'm guilty of this too. So the question is, are you having transactional sales or transformational sales? Those things look really different, feel really different. And guys, they build a different long-term business. And that's what we're here for. We're not here for, great if it happens fast. I'm not really worried about that. I'm worried about building a stable business for people, their health, and our finances. That's what I'm worried about. If that takes 10 years, okay. Like it's probably not. So what is transactional selling? What are transactional conversations? What do those look like? Transactional communications, whatever you want to call it, interactions are not bad. They have to happen at the right time. And the mistake that's happening kind of accidentally is it happens too soon. And so focusing on when you're talking about the products or the price, that is in the column of transaction. Okay. So of course, there's times we need to talk about the product. Of course, there's times we need to talk about the price. When you start with that, that creates a transactional sale, a transactional relationship, and you can for sure close a bunch of things like that. But what does that lead to long term? So your business might be too transactional if you have low loyalty, you're struggling with retention, you have they have no emotional connection to you or the products that they're on. They kind of, in essence, you're having trouble communicating the value of the products and the value of the business to people. And this is hard to sustain long term. So if you're having trouble keeping points, if you're going back in points, and then here's another one, kind of an internal dialogue that will happen from it, is you really feel like your sense of self-worth and value is tied to what's going on with your rank and points. So if you find yourself in those struggles, like we said, so what? Like whatever, it's happened yesterday. Let's move forward. How can we kind of just tweak things slightly, to be honest? This is not a big change, to alleviate those pain points for us. So what does transformational selling look like? Transformational relationships. This is problem focused, problem and solution focused. Yeah, of course, when someone asks about the products, we ask them what their health struggles are. Guys, this is deeper than that. So think about yourself right before you started these products, and what were the problems? What were you fed up with? What did you want fixed? What were you seeking solutions for? So this is an acquired skill that you're going to have to practice and you're going to have to get good at. And this is going to be a little different with every conversation, but your goal needs to be a detective to seek and find their problems, their pain points, whatever word resonates with you more. We are problem seekers and solution, can't remember whatever clever way I was going to say it. We offer solutions. So look for problems and connect with solutions. That's your job, guys. The products, which specific products will fit them, will come. Honestly, when I have conversations like this and I'm really emotionally connected with someone where you don't have to feel this way, a lot of times it happens with people who are like really struggling with anxiety or depression and have, been to all these doctors who aren't helping them and have finally come to us, and we're giving them hope and we're giving them options that, guys, like, you don't have to be petrified. This is not like the end of your solutions. You don't have to feel this way. We can help you. I promise things are going to get better. Like that relief, that emotional connection. Half the time I'm getting people's information and they've never even asked the cost. Literally never. That is not uncommon when you've made an emotional connection, guys. So if cost is always a early part of the conversation, you're being too transactional. Now, of course, you're gonna get red people, you're gonna get aides who, cut to the chase. How much does it cost? You're gonna get those people. You need to look for overall trends. And even if they ask that, control, right, Kylie, exactly. They don't know how much you know until they know how much you care. Convert it back. Be like, we have some really good sales going on right now, and just keep going back to the struggles, getting curious and empathetic. Like, how long have you been struggling with that? That sounds really hard. What things have you ever found anything that's kind of helped with that? What have you tried in the past? Gosh, I bet that was frustrating. Like, how does this affect your life? How do you think things would be if that wasn't a struggle for you? So what's their struggle? What's their pain point? What's their problem? And how is it making them feel? What's the impact on their life? So that takes some time, that takes some intentionality, that takes some effort. That's not a quick, $80 off graphic and or do you want to get in on the sale? Sometimes that happens, especially in the next few days. We're at New Year's, we're at the end of the year. We don't want people to miss out. So I'm not saying don't do that. But when you're having conversations, I want you to check yourself constantly. Am I focusing on their problems and solutions? That will create an emotional attachment. When you create an emotional attachment to solutions, you're part of the solution, by the way. You are a huge part of it. The products are part of it, and you are part of it. You connected their problem with a solution, guys. When you go to GNC and buy something, you don't get us. So this is a package deal. The loyalty goes up, the value of the products goes up. And guys, they did a blind taste test with these wines, where they, people didn't know what the wine bottles were. They were blank, and it was 3 wine bottles, and all they had listed there was the price. And they did all this testing with taste testing, and like significantly, everybody voted on the most expensive wine was by far the best one. It was the exact same wine, all 3 of them. So people often convince themselves like what costs more works better and is better. So be careful, like devaluing our stuff and devaluing you. Like, guys, we could charge triple what we charge and we would still be successful easily. So really, if you're having trouble with that, you feel like this is expensive, or you feel like that's a common conversation, get with your upline and we can tweak that. And that's a valuation, you seeing the value of it and communicating the value of it to somebody. And it's going to come back to problems. If you offer people solutions to the problems, think of all the solutions women will pay for. What will we pay for eye cream? What exercises, uncomfortable exercises will we do if we think it'll change our abs or change our butt or do all sorts of things? What regimens will you do? Guys, we will go to all sorts of lengths and all sorts of money for stuff that doesn't matter nearly as much as how you feel. Okay, so don't tell yourself the lie of like, well, this is expensive, well, people really like. Don't tell yourself that story. So we've kind of gone over mindset about yourself and your goals and where you find yourself, where you want to go. Hopefully I've clarified some communication stuff just to check yourself that you're getting your motives across. And that's my goal here. I want people to see you guys the way I see you. I want people to understand you the way I understand you. And the key to that is staying focused on their problems and solutions. All right, so some nitty gritty stuff for you. What am I supposed to do in the next 3 days? Like, all that stuff is great, Tova, but like, what do I do now? Here are my suggestions that I'm going to personally go do and that I think would be helpful to your business, because there's a lot to do. So sometimes it can kind of be like, where do I focus on? And when there's so much to focus on, sometimes it's easier to do nothing. So don't do that. The first spot I'm going is to my back office. And guys, just if anybody doesn't know how to get to this, you go to your dashboard, you log into your account, you go to your dashboard where you see your points. They are what they are on the 28th. All the subs have processed. Click on that, go all the way to the bottom. You're going to see a little number that says load data. Click on that, and all your customers, yours and people beneath you, you'll see them pop up. You can export the genealogy sheet. I suggest exporting November's genealogy. That's going to be, accurate. If you've had joins already this month, you might need to do December too to make sure you capture them. So neither here nor there. And I'm going to sort by level and join date. So you can pull out your level ones and sort them by join date. And this is people who've ever ordered from you. So I have, well over 100 level ones over the past, 4 years of my business. Of course, a lot of them don't order anymore, but on the genealogy report, I can sort them newest to oldest, and I have all their phone numbers in there. And more data is showing really to communicate with people. Text is a better way to go. That doesn't mean spamming people's text and going overboard, but really how I'm going to connect with my people over the next 3 days. If I wanted to talk to 75 people, guys, that's 25 a day. That's not that bad. You send a lot more than 25 text messages a day, I promise. So yeah, you got to type in their number. A lot of the people you probably already have in their phone, and you're going to engage them about like, how are your holidays? How are things going? I just wanted to talk to you and see, what are your plans for the New Year's? And this is people who have already bought from you at some point in time. And then you can continue that conversation and we can push out details for what that would look like. But I'm really going to be focused on people. What are you still struggling with? And maybe give them a multiple choice of what they're still struggling with after the conversation has started. So this could be applicable to people who are already on the products right now. Are they still struggling with weight? Are they still struggling with bloating? Like, what's their pain point? And then people who left, you can ask them something. I think it was Kristen was saying she sent to all her previous clients, like, tell me what your favorite thing about this experience with Plexus was, and what was your least favorite thing? I'm always looking for feedback. I really value your opinion. And we can only improve on the info that we have. And she said she got a big response. People love being asked questions. They love sharing their opinion. You know that. And we can function off of that. So that's kind of existing clients and previous clients. Pull them from your genealogy, either voice message. If you don't want to text them, I suggest voice messaging them. Don't send these big long things. That doesn't mean there's not a time for them, but I really think if you want to connect with them over the next few days, we're probably gonna send them a sale one last minute for like, hey, don't miss out. So more important for you to connect earlier in a more personal way. All right, and then the second, so that's bucket one. Bucket two is your warm market. This should be your biggest bucket. These are people that you've probably talked to about Plexus at some point in time, or watch your stories, and just maybe have interacted on some posts or been to events and they just haven't bought yet. All right, so we're checking in with them. The thing I say about the warm market, don't forget it takes like 12 to 15 follow-ups with people. That is industry wide. That's normal. You're not bugging people. It's the waitress walking around the restaurant with water. Are you thirsty? Do you need a refill? That is what you're doing. It's a law of timing. So stop telling yourself the story that I'm bugging people, I'm being annoying. Don't communicate with them about, I'm going to ask, like, are you a New Year's resolution person? Do you have any goals? Are you not all about that? I'm going to try to start a conversation with them. I'm not going to just send them this big thing. And then, some people will engage and some people won't. And we can decide as we go on over the next few days, what do we want to send them to make sure they don't miss out. And then cold messages, of course, you guys know what to do. You got to reach out to new people. You got to be brave. Somebody reached out to you at some point. There was a day when you didn't know about Plexus. And then there was a day that you did. Like, that was a tipping point with you. Someone talked to you and was brave enough to do it. So don't forget, people out there are kind of counting on you to throw them a life raft. And it's gonna feel different when you approach people's problems. It's almost like giving somebody a compliment. Like, are you really gonna get a weird response from people? And you're like, oh, I love your dress. Oh, those earrings are so cute. It's almost a similar feel when you're talking to people about their struggles. Like, people feel like, wow, like you give a crap and you stop doing what you were doing to even ask, like, wow. All right, so I want to make sure I've hit on everything with that. And my approach with that is, so my kind of wording, people want to know a lot of times the wording with cold messages. One of my favorites is like, hey, I have no idea what you've been up to. How have things been? Like, addressing the elephant in the room. Emily Gibson taught me that. Like, just say, like, instead of doing this whole thing with someone you haven't talked to in 3 years and like trying to ask them 3 or 4 questions before you talk about Plexus, to straight up be like, oh my gosh, I have no idea how you're doing. How are things? What did you guys do for the holidays? And leave it at that. And then I like to go into the truth. Like, Facebook feeds are so weird. I have no idea if you've seen any of my posts, and any of the info I've shared on kind of, the thing we say with what my health journey has been over the past few years. Have you seen any of that? Try to get them to engage with it. And then my line I like to use is, these have made such a difference in my life and relieved so many struggles. I don't want anyone to miss out. So I just want to make sure you know your options. People like options. People like to know options and choices. That's giving them the power. You're not asking them to do anything. You're making sure they know the options. So that's your approach that you take. All right, so with Reset Group, there's more information coming, so just keep an eye out for that. If you're not really familiar with the new sales, make sure you go look at them. It's the buy two, get one free. That's a big one right now with Active, Hydrate, and something else. I'm spacing out on what the third one is. Somebody can drop it in the group. And collagen. Thank you. Man, that's a really good deal, the collagen one especially. And then the two welcome, of course, there's all the sales going on, but the two resets for $200, I think, is up finally. Sabrina said she saw it. Guys, that's crazy. And for your personal tip for ambassadors, if you want to stock up on any products, don't forget, when you go over 500 PV, you get 25% back instead of 15% back. So if you want to order some extra stuff for yourself, you're getting those two resets even more discounted. So now would be the time to do that. All right, finishing out, I just want to say, guys, people need someone to believe in them now more than ever. These are like not really easy times for people. People are more disconnected than ever, struggling more than ever with health, with finances. They need some positive. They need someone to reach out to them. They need somebody to believe in them. People are scared to put their hope in anything because a lot of things have not quite gone as people planned. And you feel that among people. So be that alternate source. Be that source of showing them like, hey, it's okay to hope. It's actually okay to put your hopes in this and wonder, could things be better? Because there are places that aren't lying to you. There are places that aren't fake. There are places that aren't wasting their money. And I'm so proud to be associated with a company like that, that is offering real solutions. And Sabrina and I were talking about that, the whole wording with like, I'm sick and tired of fads. I'm sick and tired of fake. I'm sick and tired of quick results. Like, that's not helping you solve your problems. If that's what you're looking for, that is not us. Like, say that to people. I'm tired of that. And I wanted to be tied to a company that was really about helping people's lives be different, not what you look like in a dress in 3 weeks. Okay. What are we going to do for the next 30 years? So be that light, be that magnet for people. Bob Hyland quote, one of my favorites, the most important sale you will ever make is selling yourself on you. Don't devalue yourself, guys. Like, you are here for a reason, especially on the 28th of December. So there's a million other things you could be doing this week between Christmas and New Year's. I'm sure all of us have family, or family just left. Things are chaotic. You could be taking down decorations, relaxing. You're not, you're here, you're serious about your business. That's why you're going to be successful. That's why you're going to grow. I want you to remember, think about situations you feel really qualified to handle. So if I were to have a new mom reach out to me and be like, what did you do for like sleep training and nap schedules? Like, I'm really nervous. I don't even know where to begin. I would feel very confident sharing with her what I did and offering resources and being like, honestly, everyone's got to figure it out and every kid is freaking different. But this is what worked for us. And here are the websites I checked. Here are the books I read. That wouldn't scare me. I feel totally qualified to handle that. So who were you before you started this business? Who were you before you started the products? You are insanely qualified to speak to that person. When you post and when you talk in your videos, talk to that person who you were right before you started the products, who you were right before you decided, I'm going to do this business. Talk to that person And listen, for all the other people that you weren't in that situation, they had different health struggles. We had different business reasons. Guess what? Your value is everyone on Empower. This is what's so powerful about us is if you talk to somebody who's freaking sick and tired of healthcare and you never worked in healthcare, I am part of your value. I'm on your team. Leverage my story. If you're talking to somebody who's pregnant, Natalie's on your team. Use her story. So you kind of got to look at us as like a whole body and talk with that confidence as if I'm talking about a situation I already handled. Sleep training, I got that. I can talk to you. It may or may not work, but I got it. Have that posture. Don't be nervous. Like, you have all the resources. That's what I mean when I say you have all the tools. So if you approach people with that confidence that there is not a problem, that we can't find somebody in the past 14 years that's worked out and found solutions to, like, we're going to find it. It might take me a minute, but we're going to find it. Talk with that confidence and people will believe you. They will respond. They will trust you that, hey, if you're that confident that you got some solutions, there must be something to it. And they're buying in to the emotional connection of you solving their problems, that they'll order whatever you tell them to. Guys, it's not about that. We know about that, so we can put them on the right thing. That's not what happens in the emotional sale. Okay, the transformational selling. You are equipped to find and connect people to their solutions. You can do this, and it's the most fulfilling work you can do when you're carrying it out in a way that aligns with your values and aligns with your motives. And hopefully we clarified a little bit of that today. I'm excited to see what you guys do over the next 3 days. Lily, you're awesome, and you should talk to yourself like you're awesome. You should look at yourself like that, and you have lots of value to bring to people. People desperately need it. So we are part of the solution to their problems, and we need to show up for them. So look for more info over the next few days, and I hope you guys have a good night.